My colleague, Mr. Curbelo, for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman, and I thank the ranking member as well and the witnesses for making some time for us this morning. Dr. Alexander, you mentioned the Academic Advancement Program during your testimony that serves as a summer bridge program for entering freshmen and transfers. Florida International University, in the district I represent, also offers a summer bridge program that has helped students transition from high school to college. FIU has also created programs intended to help low-income and first-generation students gain access and the proper preparation to be successful during their experience in higher ed. I'm proud to report that FIU is one of the nation's largest, most diverse institutions in higher education with over 54,000 students and 200,000 alumni. Nearly 53% of FIU's undergraduate student body will be the first generation in their families to attain a college degree. To maximize access and completion, FIU has revolutionized student advising, created outside partnerships and initiatives, and leveraged Pell Grants and funding. FIU has a strong partnership with Miami-Dade County Public Schools focused on high school student success through dual enrollment and other programs. They are hoping to incentivize a K-12 higher ed collaboration through their program called Access, which is chaired by Superintendent Alberto Carvalho and President Mark Rosenberg. So far, the programs have been very successful, promoting enrollment and graduation rates. How do you think we can incentivize more of these types of partnerships between K-12 and higher ed to ease the transition for students and improve access for low-income, first-generation, and minority students?
Thank you for that question. One of the programs that we conduct at UCLA is called the Vice Provost Initiative for Pre-College Scholars. It's a cohort program that works with 8 high schools, and basically what happens is students are recruited after the 9th grade year, and they're part of a cohort that enters the university during the summers, 2 weeks between their sophomore and junior year, 5 weeks between their junior and senior year. And the ideal is to provide them this college readiness, this preparation, these workshops, in collaboration with their parents. So the parents is a partner in this pathway that we've created for these students to enter the university. These students have been highly successful. Many of them have gone to other schools besides UCLA, even though we try to recruit them. But they've been highly successful to the extent that the program was funded by a huge foundation grant, but now we're seeking institutional funding for the program itself. The students also receive a scholarship from the university, those who enroll in UCLA, a 4-year scholarship to help them with matriculating towards their degree.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, I want to ask an open question to anyone who will take it during my allotted time. I was with President Donna Shalala of the University of Miami earlier this week, and she tells me that one of the greatest burdens on higher ed today is compliance, and that they are constantly having to deviate resources from student services to compliance. Do any of you have any ideas as to what we can do to perhaps relieve the regulatory burden on our universities and colleges so that they have, in turn, more resources to dedicate to students, specifically the students we're discussing here today, the ones that most need the help?
I think that we definitely have to be mindful of the regulatory burden that institutions are certainly very vocal about and bringing to our attention. There are several things that I think could be done, and I think we need to first of all consider what are we asking them and whether or not it continues to be appropriate for the current context. Many questions and many of the things required currently in these reporting requirements are outdated. We simply no longer need them. And I think we need to start and focus on what are the kinds of questions that we need to ask and what are the types of metrics that we need to gather in order to be able to answer them effectively. I would suggest looking at things like access, progression, cost, and post-college outcomes to start. I also know that there has recently been a regulatory task force that was convened by the American Council on Education that looked at this issue, and I think that they have some good recommendations as well that offer us a starting point.
Thank you very much. My time's about to expire, but I want to thank all the witnesses and thank you, Madam